Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
Listen to the heartbeat.
Chevy is called the heartbeat of America for a reason. With SUVs made to move with your rhythm. The versatile Equinox tackles your entire day. The spacious Traverse fits your crew and your whole weekend. And Trax brings style with value you can count on. All infused with tech that has your back. So your drive always hits the right chord. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey, coaches. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. Very excited to join us. Before we jump into today's podcast and talk about basketball coaching and New York City and some of the new rules coming out and everything, give a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. I can't imagine a better time. October's just knocking on the door here to come over, deep dive, become a better basketball coach. I'm here to help. I'm here to serve. We have every resource you will need. From a basketball coach who is approaching 36 years coaching, I've won, took over, my story is I took over a program that had 5 winning seasons in 30 plus years and turned it into a perennial nationally ranked powerhouse in the state of Wisconsin. I would put our program against any other one in the last 20 years. 3 state titles, 4 runner-ups, 10 appearances. We've done everything you can do in the state of Wisconsin, and I want to share that secret with you. Prices are going up on teachhoops.com, so if you want to come over and check it out, do that. Also, go over and check out Dr. Dish, the best shooting machine on the market. We just did an all-in access championship podcast with them, so it's going to be exciting. That'll be showing up here soon. You can go over and look at that on their Dr. Dish website. Mention Coach Unplugged, they'll give you $450 off. And then Coach and I are going to talk about his clinic, which is coming up on Columbus Day. It's pretty exciting. Some great clinicians. I will put the link down below. You can go to the clinic. You can sign up for the clinic. You can get the clinic on teachhoops.com if you want. It's great. We want to help Coach out as much as we can. And so let's head off to the podcast. All right. Welcome to Coach Unplugged. I was going to say episode 1800. I'm going to look here, Coach. Well, I'm going to put this out tomorrow. I'm going to be able to, I very rarely say what episode 1867. There you go.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm still married. It's amazing. I don't know.
Smart. She's smart. You get away from her 1800 times.
I know. It's true. It is true. I know. It's something. How have you been? We haven't talked for, it's been years, I think, probably, since I...
Yeah, well, we always talk here and there, but nothing extensive. I mean, the same old thing that you're doing, teaching, coaching.
I know. It goes fast.
Yeah, it definitely does. Trying to impact lives a day at a time, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I tell my students. So any new twists in New York City or New York basketball? Are you guys staying with quarter? Are you in quarters or halves, or how is this the new?
I think the only rules change was the fouls. They went to
free throws.
Yeah, free throws at the end of 5 in every quarter is double bonus. Which it's going to be a bit of an adjustment. The the one-on-one was always such a pivotal pressure point thing. So I've always found it weird that high school basketball doesn't mirror college basketball rules, but it does in girls. Like, it's just It doesn't make any sense, but
So we play halves in Wisconsin.
oh, that's cool.
So we play two 18-minute halves.
I'm actually running my own high school fall league, and that's what we do, two 18-minute halves.
We play two 18-minute halves. We don't get an extra timeout, and we won't be implementing that rule this year.
Yeah, New York City, the PSAL, the Public School in New York City, Public School League in New York City, just reclassified all of the schools in the city to it was double A, single A, and B, and now it's 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A.
Okay, so that must affect. How does that affect you?
Well, they did it based on their criteria were school size, enrollment, and which is what a lot of states do, right? And then they did like playoff like power points. So our school has always been one of the traditionally smaller schools in the city. So we were placed into 1A. But after the classifications came out and I saw that the teams that for the majority of the teams in 1A that are in there with us are teams that are generally non-competitive. I didn't really like the notion of, we wouldn't be challenged a lot. So I actually submitted a request last week to be pushed up to 2A, just based on that. We've been traditionally, one of the more competitive teams in the city over the last 8 years, and
right.
I think that the schools that are in 2A are schools that they might be bigger than us, but I think that we can compete with them consistently, and it's better for our boys to have that challenge to try to get ready to have a chance to play in college.
No, I think that 100%. So what would the cutoffs like? Give me a general idea of cutoffs for like size of schools. Like what's a
in the 1A it was 0 to 350. For boy it was by gender. So by amount of boys in the school, based on the latest cities.
Yeah,
numbers.
whatever their enrollment thing. Yes.
I think it was 0 to 350, then 351 to 699, then like 700 to 999, and then above. In boys they made 4A optional, so they made it like all the teams that were like previously AA classed, they pushed them up to 4A, and then you can request to go to where you belong, I guess, if you want to. But I don't see a lot of the teams doing that.
Most want to stay at 4A.
Yeah, but then there are some schools that have been playing in that classification over the last few years that have not been competitive. So it's very top heavy in that classification for the most part.
That's interesting. And why did they? What made that come around?
They said that they wanted to be more aligned to like what the state does, and which is, I guess, fine. I think that it was good. I think that they did it the most arbitrary way they could in terms of,
Right.
They put some really good teams that were in the A division in the 1A because they were small. And if you want to move up, you can, but
Right.
they didn't place you where you didn't belong. And they're not allowing teams that are small, like, that are non-competitive, but really big schools to go down because they would have an inherent advantage over bigger schools.
Right.
Smaller. Excuse me.
Yeah. And you guys don't leave the city. Do you go play for the state championship, or you just have
They just announced about a month ago that there would be there's not going to be a state championship this year. I don't know what they basically said that it cost too much money to do it. There wasn't very well attended, and I think what's going to end up happening is like the downstate schools will play against each other's champions, or I think that they're going to work out something on their own.
There'll be two separate things,
kind of like they did it during COVID. But I think that at least for the next couple of years, the state championship as we have known it won't exist, which is unfortunate if every other state is having a state championship. But
right. If Hawaii can have a state championship and they're on 5 different islands or whatever, you guys can have it. Or Alaska, they're traveling by, dog sled. Shit, they can, you would think you guys could have one. So what's your feeling on the free throw rule? What's your feeling? I'm asking every coach I talk to about the free throw rule. What's your feeling about it?
I think it's definitely going to be an adjustment. I think that it does take away a little bit of strategy in the game.
I think it does too. I think it does too.
It takes away knowing, oh, we have 2-3 fouls to give. We can do this at the end of the game. We could be more aggressive if we're down because we don't care if they call a foul. We're not going to put you in the bonus right away. I don't know. I'm not a ref, and I didn't ask. One of my best friends is a ref. I didn't ask him like kind of what the thought process behind it is. I just,
I think there's going to be less free throw shot, don't you think?
No, because I think in the first year, people are going to be so struggle so much to adjust to it that they're just going to, I think that at least early in the season, there'll be a lot of free throw shot.
Yeah, because it's not so you don't maybe because you don't shoot until the 6th, right? It's the 6th you shoot 2, I think.
It's the 5th.
Is it the 5th or the 6th?
I thought it was the 5th in the quarter.
Oh, maybe it's the 5th or the 6th. But then it resets, right?
Every quarter, yep.
So I gotta look this up. So then I gotta go back and I'm gonna look at my old scorebooks too. I haven't really done a deep dive into it because I don't know because we're not doing it because we don't follow. Do you have a shot clock?
Yeah, we have. I mean, New York City, we're fortunate. Like I've had a shot clock. I played in high school with a shot clock.
Really?
Yeah, 35-second shot clock. But again, girls are 30, follows college.
Yeah, I mean it's weird that and I like rules. It's 2 foul shots.
In the fall league that I run, I do a 24-second shot clock just because.
What do you think of that? What do you think the perfect line is for a shot clock?
I think a high school 30. It definitely makes our kids play a little faster, but I want more possessions in the preseason. Get guys more touches, try to make decisions, and I also think it teaches kids the value of like understanding how long 35 seconds really is, right? Like,
right. Yeah, I'm just not sure what the perfect distance is in high school. You're right. It was on the team's 5th foul each quarter. That'll be interesting. There might be more free throws. I think 45 is too much. I think 24 is too little for a high school game. I think it's in the 30s somewhere is the perfect distance.
Yeah, we have 35 right now. So
do you have violations very often?
No, but not my team would never be allowed to. Like we play too fast for that.
I know. Yeah, I can't. I think 30. I think 30 might be a little short. I don't know. It'd be interesting. What the perfect window would be. Because definitely at the lower level, sometimes in the 24 would definitely be too short. Just because everyone would press, and then there'd be 7 seconds, and then. So yeah, I think you're right. 45 is way too long. You might as well not have it if you're gonna have 40.
Does anyone have a 45-second shot clock?
No, I think some people have 40 though in the States. I think 30 and 35 are the most common. I don't know if anybody has 20 or 24. No. I mean, I don't think anybody's in the 20.
I know that's a FIBA rule.
Yeah. That's interesting. So how do you feel about your team? Are you doing anything? Let's talk X's and O's. Are you doing anything specific different, you think?
I think that, last year we were very young and inexperienced beyond a couple of seniors we had. And even like one of the seniors had never played before. So, we were just inexperienced, and like we lost a game. We ended up in the Sweet 16 last year. We lost to the team that ended up winning the city championship. They're the defending city champions, and we were up 19 early in the game, and we were up 7 with 5 minutes left. And, we just didn't finish the game as well as we could have. And I think a lot of that had to do with, one, the other team played well down the stretch, and we were just so inexperienced. Like we just hadn't been there, and guys who didn't want the ball.
Right.
And I think
was it juniors or sophomores or freshmen or what was it?
We had a lot of sophomores last year playing.
The best thing about a sophomore is they become a junior, man. Yeah. I'm telling you.
So I think that's going to really help us this year. What they're struggling with, what they're adjusting to now is that we had a ball, not a ball dominant, but like our senior point guard had the ball in his hands for 3 years, and he was unselfish and things like that. But everything went through him, and now it's guys are trying to find their way. But I think that we're going to be pretty deep by the time the season like really starts. we're going to be small, but we're going to be able to pressure the ball and play a lot of guys. And I think that's to our advantage. We just got to stay out of that.
What's your window? What's in New York City? What's the window of the season? When do you start and when do you end?
You can start tryouts like the third week of October.
Okay.
And then you can start practice November 1.
November 1. And then when do you end? When's like the city championship?
I think last year was like around St. Patrick's Day, something like that.
March. Okay. Yeah, that's
March.
early. It seems, I think we're late. I think us in California, we don't start till like the 13th or 14th of November. But most of the country, I think, starts in October. That's interesting. Yeah. So you get time before your first game then. When is your first game? Thanksgiving?
Well, that would right now, especially with the reclassification and teams requesting that everything has to be in by Thursday. So I'm hoping that divisions are locked and stuff like that by maybe next week, and maybe the schedule comes out, first week of October would be ideal. But generally, our first game will be, right around Thanksgiving.
So who decides who you play? Like, is it geographical? Is it like, what is it?
The city makes the schedule. Yeah. Like they put teams in your division, like in your section of Brooklyn, your section of Queens, your section of the Bronx, things like that. It's like regional to your borough.
Okay.
And then also your classification, because there's so many schools in New York City.
Propel Fitness Water. With Gatorade electrolytes, zero sugar, and vitamins, Propel hydrates better than water to help you get the most out of your workout and get back to your best self. What propels you? Propel with Gatorade electrolytes.
Listen to the heartbeat.
Chevy is called the heartbeat of America for a reason. With SUVs made to move with your rhythm. The versatile Equinox tackles your entire day. The spacious Traverse fits your crew and your whole weekend. And Trax brings style with value you can count on. All infused with tech that has your back, so your drive always hits the right chord. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Yes. So it's classification, it's area. That makes sense. And how do you know how many schools there are in high schools there are in New York City?
I mean, if you really, I could quickly pass through this list if you want me to. Like,
thousands. It's gotta be thousands, right?
Yeah, definitely thousands. I mean, in the B division alone last year, I think there was 54 teams made the playoffs, and like you only had you only had to be 500. So you assume 50 teams also didn't make the playoffs, and that's just not in the B. That's just in the B. So I would say there's probably maybe 400 high schools in New York City.
Yeah, and it's and not everyone makes the playoffs.
No, the city rule had always been you had to be 500 or better.
That's good. It's like football in Wisconsin and stuff. So let's talk about the clinic. Why did you start the clinic? Let's talk about the clinic you're running in October. Why did you start it, and how did it come about?
I started it because when I took over at the high school I'm at, it's a very good academic school, but they had no history of athletics there. They had won 14 games in their 10-year history. They, allocated a lot of their resources towards enrichment opportunities for like summer abroad and things like that, and their college readiness, and not a lot got allocated to athletics. So the first year out of pocket, I bought new jerseys. I did all those things, right? And then I was trying to think of ways that I could fundraise and utilizing my connections in basketball, just because I'm a New York City basketball guy. I played high school here. I played college here. I'd worked so many camps. I think that I've been somebody that people could relate to and rely on, things like that. So I knew that I could put together a good clinic. And I wanted to do that because in New York City specifically, I don't think that enough coaches actively try to get better as coaches. I think that a lot of coaches, have, small short-term success or success that doesn't really translate, and they're not looking to be lifelong learners. And that's, I'm always looking to learn, which is, how you and I met. Right. So
yeah.
I think that I advantage of the connections I had. You know, I called up my college coach. I called up, a guy I played against in college. I called up the guy I used to play against when I was in high school, who was one of the best coaches in the city. And one of my best friends was coaching a JUCO in New York City. And I wanted to keep the price of the clinic down,
Right.
so that price couldn't be an excuse, right? Like, I charged $25 for the first 6 weeks I marketed.
Right.
There's been 2 clinics in the last 6 weeks around here that were $100 with less speakers.
Right.
And I think that oftentimes you look at a clinic and everybody wants to learn from Coach Calipari and Coach K and Nate Oates and Jay Wright and Shaka and all these guys. And the likelihood of you ever relating to those guys or being those guys are low.
Yeah, you're running one of the elite programs in the country if you got players like that. My guys,
right? And I think that I kind of put together a clinic of local guys who I knew were going to bring great value, who are great coaches, great people, and they were relatable. You can go up to them and talk to them. Like, you can go have a beer with them. You could go grab a slice of pizza with them, and they would talk. They're not going to big time you and things like that. And I put it together my first year, and I think my first year in 2017, I had like 40 coaches there. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was doing all the marketing by myself. I couldn't make a graphic. I couldn't.
Right.
I look back at those first things. I'm like, wow, how did I get anybody to come? And then each year kind of grew up a little bit in terms of the enrollment. And then right before COVID in 2019, I think I had like 70 coaches in the gym. And then COVID kind of killed my momentum.
It's killed all of our momentums. Yeah. I know. I love when I look at the list that everyone is. I mean, she's just not, I guess, the Brown coach, but a lot of them are very local. Holy crap. Yeah.
And I try to find coaches that I have some sort of connection to, like, one, I'm asking you to volunteer because I'm not, these coaches are all coming to speak because they want to share the game and they're willing to help me out and things like that. But I have a kid that I coach in AAU that plays for Brown this year. So I know TJ well. I had 2 kids that played for Blair Academy. Coach Mantega is awesome. Coach TJ Tibbs, I played against him in college. He's one of my best friends. Coach Jake Brown, I'd met him on the recruit, when he was out recruiting and things like that. We'd always stayed in contact. Ted Rawlings tried to recruit one of my friends' JUCO kids a few years ago, and like we just hit it off, and we've always stayed in contact. So these are guys that I consider I'm close with, I'm friends with, and I know that they're going to come. Henry Lowe at Fordham, who just got promoted to assistant coach this year. I coached him in basketball camp when he was 12 years old.
I love it. I love that you could almost have marketed this as like, I mean, I first of all, my son wanted to go to several of these schools. So these schools are no joke academic.
Right. Yeah.
They're no joke academically either. It's like, but anyway, yeah, I mean, it's, I think, and what's the window? And do you have a website? What's the window of the day? Like, when does it start? When does it end?
It goes about 10. I tell everyone to get there. It says 10:30 in the flyer. I tell them get there at 10, settle into the gym.
Okay.
There's a local deli you can go get some coffee at. I try to have coffee for everyone. It goes about 10:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
Last year I got some, I try to get some snacks and things like that for people. Just to keep them engaged.
Keep them there so they don't leave. Yeah, they don't leave.
Yeah. I'll try. I think this year I'll get the concession stand bumping a little bit too.
Right.
But I just I want to provide great value, and I've always done it on Columbus Day because it's a day off in New York City. Most of the people have off. What are you doing on Columbus Day? And doing it on like a Sunday or a Monday, like I'm asking you to take a weekend day away from your family or your other responsibilities. I think Columbus Day is kind of like I had nothing to do that day kind of day. So
no, I think it's a great day to do it. It's a great day to do it. And it's nice enough. The weather's good enough. It's like people aren't going to get socked in. These guys are basically probably on the recruiting trail.
Yeah,
October.
Yeah, so they can go to like the local high schools for an open gym and things like that. And I've been, like I said, I've been fortunate. I'm really thankful for the coaches that I speak. I had Coach Tobin Anderson, who just led FDU to the big upset over Purdue in March. He spoke at my clinic a couple of years ago, and when he was still at St. Thomas Aquinas, and I saw him out in July, and I was like, I got you your start. Like, I got you hot. As soon as you spoke at the clinic, you took off. And obviously I was joking, but he's a really good guy.
I thought Coach Hurley's was really good last year.
Coach Hurley spoke last year. That was such a surreal like moment for me, because I admire him so much in terms of like what he stood for, how he approaches. And I'll never forget, I was at a basketball clinic maybe 5 years ago now at Drew University, and Coach Hurley was the first speaker, and he was awesome. And then after he spoke, he sat in the front row and took notes.
I know.
And he's arguably the best high school coach of all time with Morgan Wooten, right? He had St. Anthony's had been closed for 5 years by that point, and he's in the front row taking notes just so he can call one of his sons and give them some.
I know, give them advice. I know. I'm sure that's what he's doing.
I thought that was so surreal. And then, I also never forget like that end of the spectrum, right? And then my first year marking the clinic, when I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just cold emailing everybody, and I was getting my email shut down because I was emailing so many people in a day. A coach in New York City who I won't name out of respect, but he basically told me that he didn't have, the clinic wasn't for him. He'd been coaching for X amount of years, and these are all the people he knew and things like that. And you can't really do that in New York, but in New York City basketball, you can't do that, because on our website, when you click the coach's name, their record shows up.
Really?
And this coach at his school at that point was about 45 games under 500.
Right.
So the petty person in me wants to be like, this clinic is definitely for you.
Yeah.
I couldn't respond for that.
Well, to be honest, your journey with Coach Hurley is, I mean, you both started in kind of small schools. You got to kind of bootstrap it, because he kept that school afloat single-handedly. Not that you're in a public school, I get that, but when that place started, no one knew about basketball.
I was so disappointed in myself last year too, because I have both of his books, and I had them on my table to have him sign them because I knew he was coming, and I forgot him.
Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, I took the picture, but I wanted to have him sign because I'd met him before when I was working at Hoop Group and things like that. But I mean, having him speak in the gym, and he had actually coached in that gym before, because the gym is the home of the Monsignor King tournament. It was a very, very prominent Christmas basketball high school tournament, in like the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Right.
I actually run the tournament now because I took over the sports program at the church.
Okay.
So I'm trying to keep it going and things like that. But he had coached there in like 1991, gave me the play-by-play of the last 2 minutes of the game. Like it was surreal.
It is
to talk to him, but I've had so many good coaches speak at the clinic. I'm really fortunate, and again, like there's no reason not to go.
Right. No. And if you're in the New York area, I'll make sure I put your contact stuff. If you've got a URL or anything for me, I'll make sure.
Yeah, I have it. It's not something I can recite offline because it's like it's connected to a ticket page. But yeah, I mean, just a flyer. It's great value. And connections, just like people that just don't know. I still run into people randomly because I'm a New York City phys ed teacher. A lot of phys ed, teachers or coaches. And like last year I was at a phys ed professional development, and guy came up to me and said, "Oh, you're Coach Shea," and I had no idea who he was. And he's like, "Yeah, I've been to your clinic the last 3 years. Like, I can't wait for the next one." And that really like touched my heart, because that's why I do it. Like, it's cool as a fundraiser for my program. It helps, with like expenses and things like that, but it's not why I do it. I would do it.
You're not flying to Hawaii on money making.
Yeah, definitely not. They get cool practice jerseys.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's like, when I used to run that summer tournament all the time, it's like, what do you think? I'm buying them like water bottles. Like, what do you think I'm doing with this?
I don't think you understand. Like 20, you're not doing the math here. Like 25 times, even if I have 100 people, it's not a lot of money.
It's like I tell people, you'd be better off working at a convenience store than doing this. It's if I'm worried about money. It's not about money. But I will make sure this is going to, like I said, this is going to go out on Wednesday. So everyone's going to be hearing about it. We're doing this Tuesday night for people that are listening. So I'm going to go as soon as we're off here. I'm going to post it. And then I will put Coach will send me the link, and I'll even put in the in the coaches and stuff. So if you're in the New York City area, or you're looking to take your partner to New York, I'm sure you could find a hotel room in New York.
And I encourage any coach to sign up because I'll have the video edited and things like that. And anyone who registers, you could be in Australia.
You could be ever. Yeah. You can watch
anyone who registers, you'll get the clinic video eventually. And, it's all visual stuff you'll be able to learn. It's a big gym. I'm working on making sure the audio is better.
You put it on CoachTube. Do you put it on CoachTube or you just
send it? It's there. Again, like, it's just someone randomly bought one the other day. I forgot it was there. Yeah. I was like, oh,
great. Yeah. So I'll put I think
$20. I could buy the team a pizza.
There you go. Yeah, you can buy their token. All right, thanks, Coach.
Booking.com is the easiest way from a day surrounded by noise to a stay surrounded by nature. That's nice. Go on, book it. It's easy. Booking.com. Booking.yeah.